Morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m., January 9th. Big short covering rally yesterday. Talked about that possibility in the video yesterday, pre-market. So I didn't know it was going to go that high, but it did. And got some news with Nvidia coming out with these new chips and stuff like that, computers and stuff like that. So Nvidia went nuts. Right now, the market pulled back a little bit. Um, that's what's going on. We still got CPI and PPI this week. Let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market. Also use supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, and the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the preceding day. So it helps me find strength where there is, where you want to be a bear, you want to be a bull, whatever you want to be. That's what helps me out. That's when I look at the charts, individual stocks, futures, whatever, indexes. I all use that on every thing that I look at. Alright, so if you haven't subscribed, set an alert. That would help me out tremendously. You can also, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, a like. That will help out my channel. As always, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, so let's get into futures watch list here. Alright. And let's see what's going on under the hood today. Crude, like I said, right? Probably a shakeout yesterday with Saudi Arabia making price cuts. Right now, look what's happening. It's up 3%. That's what crude does. Okay, it's at a key level. It's kind of bottoming out. Okay, hasn't made that move yet, but definitely got my attention. Okay, VIX is up 1.76%. Gold still above 2K, getting a little love today. Even though the dollar's up, gold is up. Silver is flat. 10-year yield's flat, but over 4% yield. That should rise a little bit. All right. That will report at 820. The ES is down 0.37. The Dow is down 0.38. 30-year bonds being sold down 0.46. That should probably raise the 10-year yield. Nasdaq's down 0.53. Bitcoin's down 0.73. Russell's down 1%. That is the weakest of the indexes. Ether's down 3%. All right. So that's what's going on there in futures. Let's move on over to stocks I like to day trade and swing trade. Nvidia, like I said, that news busted out of 500. A lot of good news with Nvidia, so that rose. AMD's up 0.18. All right, but we got a bunch of laggards today. All right, Apple still not doing great with that iPhone demand in China, especially. Boeing, okay, Boeing has a key level 230. All right, so I'm eyeing Boeing because it gapped down yesterday, tried to rally, couldn't rally. All right, and now we are 227 pre-market. Okay, down again 0.75. So I have my eyes on that Boeing. Baba down 1.8. Netflix got a price target cut due to revenue, slowing revenue. We'll look at that in a second. So Netflix down. Okay, let's move on. Top sectors. So I saw OPEC saying looking for price stability in oil. So with crude up big time. Obviously, sympathy would be in Chevron and Exxon. So Exxon's up 0.92. Chevron's up 0.64. Okay, those are the leaders. United Healthcare, that's not really much of a leader. Let's go down to the laggards. You got Disney. Could be in sympathy with Netflix streaming. Okay, Qualcomm's down 0.7. Morgan Stanley got a downgrade. So that doesn't surprise me that they're down 0.76. Okay, let's move on to sectors. Let's see here. So energy's leading the pack, no surprise. And the laggards are technology. That's Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. Financials. All right, Morgan Stanley. And discretionary is Tesla, Amazon, Home Depot. Okay, Tesla is down 0.52. All right, so that's looking at all the watch lists this morning. Okay. Um, what do we got going here? Let's look at the market news, economic calendar. Let's see here. Let's look at that economic calendar. I don't think we really have much today. All right, I don't think we have much today. Um, let's just go for today. So today, what do we have? Not much. Fed bar speaking at 12 p.m. Okay, Fed bar speaking at 12 p.m. That's really all we have for today. Let's see if there's any headlines. I mean, the only thing Fed Bowman said yesterday, we are not yet at a point where rate cuts are appropriate. But then you had another Fed, Bostic, saying initial rate cut in the third quarter. So who knows? That's what's going on there. And then we did have some, let's see here, let's just refresh this. So upgrades, okay, Citigroup, CrowdStrike. So if you look at CrowdStrike, Citigroup, okay, Domino's Pizza, look at that. ExxonMobil got an upgrade. JP Morgan Chase got an upgrade. Paramount Global, United Airlines. Okay, those are the upgrades today. And then you got your downgrades. We have, I'm just naming ones to note. JetBlue, Morgan Stanley. There's the Morgan Stanley. There's the Netflix. Okay, Netflix got a downgrade. Okay, from a buy to a neutral. PayPal, downgrade. Okay, Wells Fargo. Okay, those are some ones that we just talking about. Okay, that's about. Oh, let's hold on. Let's get into some morning news. Let's see. Boeing 737 Max panel was properly bolted. Um, so let's see here. Biden, Google. Just want to go to the things that I was talking about. I don't want to spend too much time. Nvidia talked about shares of the chipmaker surged to record high close on Monday after the world's most valuable chipmaker unveiled new desktop graphics processors taking advantage of artificial intelligence. All right. And then Paramount Global viewership of Sunday's star-studded Golden Globes rose 50% from last year, so that's good for them. Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk about for Netflix, right? Citigroup cuts. Can you see that? Oh, you can't see that. Let's make it smaller. Oh, that stinks. Well, anyway, Citigroup cuts rating to neutral from buy, anticipating higher cash content costs and lower revenue. So that's what's going on there. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to some daily charts here. All right, let's look at the SPY. You can see here we broke this downtrend line right here. Okay, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles that were taken out yesterday. You can call that a seller shutoff. All right, so you got 4 candles that were taken out with 1. Where do we come to? This trend line. Okay, right at last week's highs. We closed above last week's highs. So one rally day took back 4 days of selling. Okay. Where are we now? 472.70. So we're kind of in the upper third of yesterday's session. Like I said, there's been a little bit of a pullback this morning. Okay. Now, let's look at the Qs together. So the Qs, these trend lines, I don't put them on my charts for nothing. Pretty crazy, right? So this was a little trend. Perfectly went to that trend line. Okay. This trend was actually broken. So I can take that off my charts. So the Nasdaq took out 3 candles. So you had that double top here. I talked about that. And in futures, it was actually another top with an overnight session. So that's what made this push even get more gas on it. Okay. Now, it didn't happen to go to last week's highs, but right under that. Right. So got resistance at this trend line. All right. Closed above the 20 and the 90 EMA daily. Still have a rising 50 moving average. Right. So we're still in an uptrend. Where are we at now? 402.90. That would put us here, upper third of the session. Okay. So have to see here, is this going to fuel us higher back and break the highs of last year? Yet to be known. It's a pretty big move. Usually when you get a move like that, you might balance today. Maybe a little bit of continuation. You have to see. Okay. That's looking at the indexes. Let's see the 10-year yield. We could talk about the triple-headed monster. So let's go to that 10-year yield here. All right, let's look at that together. So let's just go from this move. So a big move down in yields, right? Now we made a move up, and we're kind of bouncing right at the 200-day moving average. Right at the 200-day moving average. Okay. Still have a declining 50-day moving average, so that means we're in a downtrend. Right? You got a flat 200-day moving average. Right? So that's what's going on with bonds. Now, do we break out of this 4.08, go back to 4.2? That still would not break this swing high. So we'll have to see. Don't know what's going to happen. The farther yields go higher, that's going to put pressure on stocks. If they drop, it's going to fuel the market. Okay, let's look at the VIX. VIX is kind of steady here. Not a lot of fear right now. And let's look at the dollar. Dollar it was in a downtrend here. Let's just go to weekly. Let's go to a weekly here. You can see the dollar a little better here. This is weekly. You can just see it. There's so many dojis in this dollar. So you can see we rose up here, and we're just coming down here. And we popped up in the last 2 weeks for doing this here. So can we come up here? Right, we're below the 50. Well, this is on the weekly. Let's see back to see where we are here. So we're in a declining 50-day moving average, below the 200-day moving average. So we just have to see. You can see these waves here, up, down, up, down, up. I actually took out this swing high, but now we're in this little range. So we have to see what's going to go on with the dollar. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the market profile. Look at some structure. Okay, and let's look at that together. We can see what we did yesterday. Put some single prints in. Single prints are emotional buying and emotional selling that do not offer much support or resistance. Just to give you an example here, I'll show you that in a second. All right, let's look at the structure of the profile. Okay, so last week, this is our profile. So you can see it's kind of complete. All right, what I said yesterday. Whenever the most traded price and the most traded price of the week and the month line up, you get big moves because this is the most trading that's happened in the last month and the week. Whenever you move away from it, you usually get a big move. And what did we get? We got the big move, right? We got the big move. Okay. Here's monthly VWAP. Also meant that sellers were in control until this flipped green, and now the buyers are in control. Okay, simple as that. All right, let's look what we did yesterday. So we opened here all the way down here, and we went down a little bit. It's called an open test drive, and we just drove. And once we cleared this, it was pretty much a trend day. All right, we balanced a little bit here, and then we just shot up. Hence the single prints. Single prints mean you don't have two-way action in the 30-minute period. That's what that means. So it's a straight up. Okay. Now this would be considered a spike right here. All right. This is borrowing from Shadow Trader Peter Rezenchek. Okay. Spike rules. So in this spike, you look at this spike and you want to say anything within this spike is bullish. Okay. So here's price. Anything within the spike. So we're within the spike right now. So what does that mean? The market's holding higher prices. Market's telling you, hey, we accept the higher prices. If we were down here, that would be more bearish, right? That would be like, oh wow, the market's not accepting these higher prices. Well, they are. Okay, they are accepting it. So that's bullish. Okay. You can see the single prints here have them marked off, and they don't count as being cleaned until the real-time trading hours happen at 9:30. Okay. So you can see a little bit of a sell-off, and which also is bullish is the most traded price of the day was at the highs. That's bullish. Okay. And now you have a kind of a weak high here. You got yesterday's high and the overnight high right here with the most traded price. Okay. So if you're looking for a trend continuation, you could pull back here and just to give you some context, whenever you make a big move like this, you always want to go to the midpoint or the 50% Fibonacci. So right here, 47, 70, 75 is the midpoint of the move. You have a demand zone here. Okay, you have the most traded price of the month right here. So this could be excuse me, this could be a pullback here, a buyable pullback if this holds, and then you could fuel a move, possibly make a little bit of a move higher to get some trend continuation. Okay, now after big moves like this, what tends to happen is we do one or two things. We stay up in this area and just kind of hold it, or you get a little bit of a trend continuation, you move above and you maybe come up to here. Okay, so if we look at structure, we're above the most traded price of the week and the month and VWAP, monthly VWAP. Buyers are in control. Okay, above the 50% of yesterday's move. So this is all bullish. Just a matter of what do we do today, move sideways or we get trend continuation. Okay, so let's get into scenarios here. We'll simply lay out what I'm going to look for here. Okay, so I already mentioned one of my plans. So remember this area here, 50% demand. Okay, you have the most traded price, the monthly VWAP, you have the most traded price of the month and the week, all in this area. Okay, so what I want to see now, I didn't mention one thing. I also should mention this. Inventory for the overnight is 100% net short. There's almost no longs in the overnight. and we're down here, which even makes this long scenario even better. Okay, makes it better because now you know everyone's short in the overnight. Okay, so if we now here's the scenario: if we come into this area and this demand, we hold it, or even dip our toe down here, gonna look for lower highs. This could be a good opportunity to go long. Okay, you have a supply zone here, so you might get a little bit of resistance here, but you have that weak high, and then you could possibly get some continuation. Okay, that's what I'll be looking for. Now, as far as the bearish play, the only thing I'd see to note is I would right now I'm not really in a bear mode, so I have to lean bullish, right? Because of structure. But obviously, if we come down here, come up here, and we fail in the supply, you could get a nice move down here, okay, to this area. Okay, if you blow past this area and hold it, well, we're gonna erase yesterday. Okay, I don't know how much that's in the cards. That's just a scenario. Okay, so to me, I'm leaning more on the bull side. Make it easier on yourself, right? Just made a big move, and the structure is bullish. Make it simple, right? There's always a short, but hey, I want to go with people buying a dip, right? And again, you adjust accordingly to the day. Let's move on to the NASDAQ, and let's see what setup we're looking at there. It's probably very similar, and it is. Structure is very similar. Let's look at the profile. Okay, so got the move. There's the move. There's the most traded price of the last week. Here's the value area. 70% of the trade has happened here. Price is here. Let's push this down a little bit. Okay, let's look at our structure. Here's the most traded price of the week. We're above it, right? Most traded price of the month still way up here. Okay. Some large orders hitting the tape right now. If you heard that, that's what that is. So, okay. So let's look at this together. All right, let's see what we did yesterday. Opened here, right? And here's the monthly VWAP. Took that out right here. Boop. Buyers turning control. And then we kind of balanced here, and then we made some single prints. All right, so same rules here. Here's the spike. We're within the spike, at the bottom of the spike. Okay. So the market just needs to hold this. Here's the most traded price of yesterday. And you got a demand zone there. Okay, so that's the line in the sand. That's about 166.58 in the NASDAQ. Okay. Now, it also happens to be the 50% retracement of the move in the most traded price of yesterday. Okay. So the NASDAQ needs to hold this. Okay. Remember, this is bullish now. Okay. Also have 100% net short in the overnight. Okay, so same setup you're looking at structure wise. Okay. You can see, like I talked about yesterday, I said you had these highs here were all almost equal. Weak highs. That's what fueled this rally. All those shorts had the cover along with this one, along with this one. Okay. All right. It's very simple. It's the same scenario. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for it to come right in here and test the most traded price yesterday and the 50% Fibonacci of yesterday's move. You got monthly VWAP down here. That's a little farther than I'd like to go. All right, because otherwise you got single prints in here from the open. Just want to see this get defended. Lower high. If you catch a bid, you should cut through these single prints. Then you have supply here. Might give you a little problem here. 20-day simple day moving average. And then you have kind of a weak high here again. But this is supply zone, so you could get caught right up in here. And then maybe we balance off for the rest of the day. Okay. Conversely, on a short, okay, I have supply here. See, we're pushing down still. This is all good. Okay. This is all good. Still bullish structure. Okay. But however, got to talk about we're at the bottom here. Now, if we were to, all right, take this out. So you take out this demand and you take out the most traded price yesterday. Everybody's long here. Okay. If it's not defended and you cut through it, you're going to have to contend with monthly VWAP here. If you break through that and you have single prints here, this is the open, you could cut down and erase the move. I don't know if that's in the cards, but you have to pay attention to that. Okay. Well, we'll just have to see. All right. Right now we have Netflix down 1.77, Apple's down 0.77. Okay. As far as the Nasdaq, Netflix is down 1.56, but that's not as big as a weighting as Apple. Okay. So you just got to pay attention and just follow the flows of the market. Okay. If you enjoy my content here, subscribe, set an alert. We have a plan. It's very simple. Nasdaq's about to test that demand zone in 2 seconds. You might even hear my alert go off of that hitting the demand zone. All right. If you like the content here, give me a thumbs up. Okay, that would help me out. Appreciate it or not. You can follow me on social media at X at Gonzo719 as well. Okay. I don't know. I might have lost some people. Me being off, me having the flu. Hopefully, some of you return. All right. I do this regardless because I do it for myself. It's part of my routine. So, have a plan. And I really like the plan. It's very clear. Okay, very clear. And let's see. Let's see how this market opens up today. I wish everybody good luck. Stay green. Again, if you don't like this, I don't like what you're seeing. Excuse me. No trade is a good trade. No trade is a trade. Sitting on your hands is a trade. Okay. This year, part of my resolution for trading is I'm not trading unless I see something exciting that it's a good setup. I'm not going to force anything. Sometimes you get fixated on something and you have this confirmation bias, and then you wind up regretting it because you're like, that wasn't even good, right? I'm not saying I do that every time, but this year I really want to harp on. I know when good trade setups happen. I know what trade setups work for me. Instead of forcing them, I'm just letting them come, and if they don't come, I don't trade. So that's just my stuff for this year. Trying to stay disciplined and locked and loaded. It makes your trading a lot less emotional because I'm only going to get into something that I really like, and then emotions are not as heightened. So that's my little tidbit there for today. All right, everybody have a good day, and if I don't hear from me again, good luck. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and girls.